honest, this is kind of man on the street. That's um it's Sputnik. I'm here all day. I fault lines this morning, and I'm doing by any means necessary this evening. And so, like I said, I didn't expect to have any shows today because I did them all last night. I was working all night. So that said, there is one that I want to do while I'm right here. I'm waiting for by any means necessary to start. Iran. So Iran says it's captured 17 CIA spies. That's interesting. Now, apparently, these spies are Iranian, um, and apparently, based on what Iran is saying, they were find these guys, and they were able to get some of these guys to recant in regard to what they've been doing at the behest of the United States. That the United States offer them, I think they say, citizenship and visas and those type of things in order to entice them to give information about whatever they were doing. Now, I had the opportunity to talk to John Kiriakou because him and Brian Becker have a show, and he's kind of just sitting out checking his phone, and I'm like, hey, I was like, what do you think about this story? And him and I started having a conversation about it. He says, oh, they're lying. He doesn't even look up from us. They're lying. I said, what do you mean they're lying? He says, they're lying. He says, even if they caught one or two, so what? Ultimately, the person that they're going to kill are Iranian, not American. And so, from the United States standpoint, even if they did entice somebody to become a spy, is what it is. But the catch is, he's doubtful that they caught anybody. Iran, going back to April, just to April, they said they've caught 290 U.S. spies. That's a lot of spies. There may be one or two in the country, maybe more. I mean, this is based on what Kiriakou said. He was like, look, there may be a few spies in the country that the United States wants to get in contact with nuclear scientists that are in Iran. That's their job. That's what they want to do because they want to keep an eye on the program. However, the notion that they caught 12 CIA spies is ludicrous. But that's what they're coming out with. Iran said they caught 12 CIA spies. And not just that, that they're going to put some to death. That some of them, they don't necessarily say how many, have a death sentence. Donald Trump is at a press conference, and Trump says they're lying. Now, the problem with this is Donald Trump is not a trustworthy actor, so Donald Trump saying they're lying has the weight of air. That said, 12 sounds a bit much. Even on a good day, 12 sounds a bit much. There may be spies in the country. I mean, to be honest, I don't necessarily have a basis of comparison to this, but Kiriakou does. And so if he's like, oh, that's bullshit. He seems pretty confident about that part. Now, it's not so much that there are no spies in the country. Don't misunderstand me. It's just the notion that they caught 12. And that 12 is on top of the 290 that to them that they caught prior. I said, this is really annoying. I said, because there's no way to know the truth. And he says, yeah, the truth doesn't really matter in this process. Now, I've thought that myself, but I would have never broached that in that way. His point, and I said, the problem here is that both sides seek to camouflage whatever they're doing by lying. Meaning, we're doing X, and we're going to lie about the fact that we're doing X. And the other side is going to point to you, but the other side that's pointing to you is also lying about what they're doing. So the reality of what is taking place is always hidden within a web of. It doesn't matter what's true. You pick a side based on what you want, meaning what do you want to see in the world, and you function from that basis. Truth in this process is nowhere to be found. A world of spies, man. And then you get into this notion of war. And understand what I mean when I say war. Like warfare. Information warfare in many respects. You're putting out information. It has nothing to do with truth. It has everything to do with hiding your actions. Everybody in the process is lying. That was the way Kiriakou landed. Yeah. Who can get the advantage of what matters? Yeah. Who can get the advantage is what matters. That's what matters. Um, and the objective, meaning their job in this is not to be honest. Their job is not to be ethical. Their job is we have an objective to get accomplished, and that's what we want to get accomplished. I asked him something else also. I asked him, I said, look, I don't think Trump wants a war. He says, yes, I don't think Trump wants a war. He says, however, Bolton, Haspel, and Pompeo do. And if they got the opportunity to push them into a situation of a war, they will take it. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Um, I know people aren't all that interested in the Iran stories. I do the Iran stories because I think the Iran stories are extremely important. We started off in this process with Donald Trump bitching and moaning about Iran. We are now slowly sliding, mind you, but at the point where hardware is involved. Meaning initially it was Trump bitching about Iran. Now it is not Trump just bitching about Iran, trying to get the lighting right. It is also Trump, these guys are hardware. If you take their stories at face value, there we are. If you take their stories at face value, we've shot down one of their drones and they've shot down one of ours. I asked Kyriako about that too. I said, do you think they're a drone? He says, oh, fuck no, the U.S. didn't shoot down their own drone. I said, is it possible that they're making this up in order to make them look bad? He says, well, they're always making stuff up to make them look bad. He seems so utterly unconcerned with what was true. Because in his mind, it's like, what's the point in focusing on what's true when there's no way to know what's true? I mean, you know that these guys lie. You know that the other people are lying. Both people in this process have no reason to be honest about what they're doing in this process. So you just gotta go from there. Just gotta go from there. It's fascinating, man. It's like spy versus spy. I end this here. This one was just kind of a heads up on a story that was getting a lot of media play about the spy thing. For those who are just getting here, supposedly, based on what Iran is saying, they've captured 17 spies that were supposedly working with America. And supposedly they're going to execute some of them. We don't know how many they're supposed to execute. I talked to Kyriako, just so happened he was here. He said that story is bullshit and Iran is lying. And even if they did get their hands on one or two, that the United States is not going to care about the fact that they execute them because they are Iranian, not American. Based on what Iran is saying, that America was able to entice some of them by offering them visas and, I would imagine, money and those type of things. But again, what's true in this process, we don't know. It is true that America wants to get nuclear scientists, and we want our plants and our spies and all those type of things. But 19 or 17? That's extreme. That's extreme. That's extreme, man. It's also true that we shot down one of their drones last week. Yeah. Well, I asked Kyriako that. He said, yeah. He says it probably was Iran's drone. He said probably was their drone. Well, but that's also when the United States says, well, our drone was in international airspace. That's probably also nonsense. Well, nonsense. Most likely that drone was in Iranian airspace and Iran blew their shit up the sky. It was high enough where they didn't believe that Iran could shoot it down. They didn't believe they had the technical acumen. I mean, this is my hypothesis. Because look, the moment that a spy drone is shot down, is the country of origin of that spy drone going to come out and say that spy drone was spying in their territory? No, they're going to come out and say they shot this down in international waters, how horrible people they are, they don't care about the rule of law. And that's exactly what Donald Trump ended up doing. So, I'm going to end this here. Dude, this mic is better than the studio mic. It is not. It is not. 1,000 times it's not. I have like one person complains about the sound. Beforehand, if you're a newbie, everybody used to complain about the sound. So I'll go with the one person as opposed to the 30. I think the USA was testing their weapons. Oh, you mean for the drone? I don't think they were testing their weapons. I honestly, you talking about when they blew that stuff up the sky? I don't think so. I honestly think they assumed that Iran didn't have the capability of hitting the drone. That drone was supposed to be a high ceiling drone, meaning it was supposed to fly extremely high. And the high ceiling was supposed to be the thing that would allow it to, evasive technology and so forth. I don't think they believe Iran had that technology. Honestly, I don't think they had the technology to blow it out the sky. Well, they were shocked. And the media reports that happened afterwards, they were shocked. They were shocked. Yeah, they were shocked. GPS tells me I missed the turn and recalculates the route. But we can't know where a plane or drone was shipped. Come on. Order Chaos, you know it. You know they knew where that drone was. You know they knew what that drone was. The only thing was they were going to come out and wherever that drone was, their answer was going to be that drone was in international airspace. Didn't matter. Didn't matter where the drone could have been shot down in Tehran, and they would have came out and said it was in international airspace. International airspace. All right, guys, I'm going to end this here because this show is about to start. If you guys enjoy this, like, share, all that good stuff. Thanks all. I'll see you in a few. Bye-bye.